Hey, I don't know who will find their way here for tonight's video because I totally forgot to announce it like an hour ago. So here we are. If you're here, welcome. If you pop in late because you say, hey, she didn't tell me she was coming, um, you can stop and watch it from the beginning. This is the first time you've been with us. Know that you can go to YouTube and search for Rise of the False Gods, Alicia Leslie, and you will see all the videos we've done on my book of the same name. It's Transformation Through Illumination. Imagine there are principles. This is about metaphysics. Metaphysics is the principles that lie behind everything that is manifest. It's spiritual principle, which is why we call it metaphysics. It's also called a philosophy based on the assumption that the universe makes sense. I know it may not seem that way now, but if you read this book, you're going to see why, even though it doesn't seem like anything makes sense, it really does make sense because principle is at work for better or worse. And because life is consciousness, we change it according to our consciousness. Whew. But where do we start? We always start within. You know why I was late tonight? I was getting all ready and I saw something on the floor and I went, what is that? And it's cat yak. And it was like all over. So I had to do some cleaning before I could come and visit for our book study tonight. Just another one of the little interesting things about life. Please know you are welcome to add comments and ask questions. I may not see them as you add them. I can't always see everything because my comment section doesn't scroll. It kind of just stalls and then I got to try to catch up with it. So but I will get back to those after. So today we are continuing with Claim Your Power Over False Gods. And we left off yesterday where it's talking about examining our life and trying to make sense of how we got where we are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and where spiritual principle is aligned in that, and how false gods, which are false states of consciousness. That is a false sense of what is good. God is good. God is all good. When we worship or give worth to false gods, we are giving worth to something that is really not for our highest good or the good of all. See, we progress as we progress along. First, we're concerned about our own self. And then as we mature spiritually, we start to get up higher and higher and look rather than at for ourselves good, we look for the good of the whole. Okay. So I'm going to pick up at the bottom of page 194. Okay. It says, without examining our life, we won't know if we're fulfilling our life's purpose. What we will notice is a disturbance. We call it divine discontent. There's something going on inside that you're just not where you want to be. And it comes a lot in our lives. It comes every time we start to veer off the road and then usually find ourselves in places we really don't want to be. But I remember one of my occasions of divine discontent when I was praying and I said, dear God, what do you want? What do you want? And Spirit said audibly, right in my right ear, minister, unity minister. And I was, oh, my family is going to love that one. But I've been a dedicated, consecrated unity minister for more than 30 years. and I love it. Well, actually, I was ordained 1992. So at this point, 40 years ago, right, 38 years ago, 40 years ago, I was in school. I was at seminary working on being a unity minister, which I was working on for 2 years before that because you had to study enough to be able to get into school. So very exciting. Anyway, so I had that disturbance going on in my life because I knew I wanted to do something. I mean, I was relatively happy. I had, a job that I like. I actually had a job and a half because I worked part time as well. Everything was going okay. Perfect? No, but then again, whose life is perfect? So, even when everything's going right, we still usually have challenges because we are here to grow, and growing sometimes hurts. I never got very tall. For those of you that don't know me personally, I am 4 foot 10 and a half. And so that might be considered vertically challenged, as they say. Now, my sister grew to be 5 foot 4 or 5 foot 6. I think my mom was 5 foot 2, my sister 5 foot 6. But I remember no, she was 5 foot 4. My mom 5 foot 2, my sister 5 foot 4. But she's shorter now, aren't we all? But I remember when my sister was a teenager, she would get the most wicked growing pains in her legs. Yeah, she had a tough time. Well, I guess I didn't have them because I didn't grow that much. It's just the way it is. Okay. If we don't explore what we are being called to do, and if we don't look around at potentiality that excites us, we could even die. In astrology, there's something they call the Saturn return. And every between 29 and a half and 31 and a half years in the transiting planets, Saturn crosses the place it was when you were born once at like between 29 and a half and 31 and a half, and then again like 62 to 65. And very often, and think about people that you know from your past, and people would very often somewhere after relatively close to 62 and 65 uh they would die. Whatever it was, something would happen and they would die. And that's because when you get to the Saturn return, you're saying in your life, um, it happens at 30, between 29 and a half and 31 and a half too. So you probably, when you were, if you're over 30, when you were around that age, you had this thing going on about, I don't know what to do with my life. Am I doing it? And so every time Saturn, who is the taskmaster, comes around, makes its hits your birth point again, you have those questions. And a lot of times, that's at kind of retirement age. So we either say, I did a good job, and we relax, or we'd say, I got a new direction, and we jot off in it, or we die. And because we feel like we are too old to accomplish what we want. So I just thought you might like that little tidbit. Okay. How often Think about how often people reach retirement age, and if they don't have a plan for their future, within 2 years, they will have left the planet. Excuse me, I got a little runny nose. I got to grab my. There we go. Sorry about that. Um, I've got my new humidifier and I'm adjusting to it, so my nose is running. I'm not used to all this humidity. Okay, so um, when my ex father in law, at the time he was my father in law, he retired, and I thought he should not be retiring. I think he was 62 when he retired, and he didn't have anything to retire to. He had no real hobbies. Oh, he thought about, tinkering in the garage with some, fixing small appliances and stuff like that, but he had no real plan. And it wound up that he spent his days hanging out at the American Legion and putting on extra weight and like that, and then he died. And I don't know if he even made it to 65. So I think he like retired at 64 or something. And then within 2 years, I knew it. I knew he would be, he would pass away because he didn't have anything to look forward to in life. We always need something to look forward to. Keep that in mind and keep creating things to look forward to. One of mine is the meeting with you doing this. Another one is writing. I can't wait to get another novel out. I'm even kind of grudgingly getting through my Photoshop, learning how to maybe create my own covers. We'll see. Um, but anyway, you want to have something to look forward to. And I don't want to die with the music still in me. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's time then to face our demons, which are error states of mind. Error demons say, I can't, I'm not enough, it's too late, I don't have enough money. All that stuff. Those are demons that we have to fight. Exposing error to the light of transformation can transform that consciousness. If you want to determine what matters most, now this is a big one. Okay, if you've got a pen or pencil, you might want to jot down these little things I'm going to ask you if you don't have a copy of the book. Now, you can get a copy of the book on Amazon. You can also get the Kindle version, in which case you may be able to highlight what I'm going to point out to you. But these are questions, if you want to jot them down so you remember to ask them of yourself when you can ponder them, when you can give them time, because this is a very important paragraph in this book. If you want to determine what matters most in your life, observe. Number one, how do you spend your time? Because time is life. It's like the currency of your life. And so how do you spend it? Okay. How do you spend your money? What do you spend your money on? Because what you spend your money on, you worked hard for with your time, which is your life. Is it something that really blesses and benefits? It is something that you just buy to feel good. The bottom line is what you spend your money on is what matters to you. And here's one thing that you can do, like number 3. Take a look at your bank statement. That is a real wake-up call, because when you see where your money has gone, you may have a real new way of looking at what you are giving worth to. That means what you are worshiping. That means what matters most in your life. None of this is meant to judge or condemn. It's just meant to give you a sense of where you might want to change your life, change your mind, change your life, change your experience. Where did the money go? Now, here's another one. What kind of items are on your to-do list? What have you got on there? Is it getting done? Because what you get done is what's really important to you. I don't care how many times you write it down. If you're not doing it, it's something else matters more. Is what matters more sitting on the couch watching soap operas, eating chocolates? That's what I used to joke about when people say, well, as a minister, they'd say, well, what do you do the rest of the week? Because they just think you get up there and preach on Sunday. And I say, oh, sit on the couch, eat chocolates, drink wine. Not really. But how many of these things are supporting you in living the life you want to live? If before you actually sit down and do this exercise, you try to write down things that matter to you most, you might say, my family. But if you're too busy working all the time and you don't have time to spend with your family, is that what matters, or is the job matter? Does making more money, does making money more than you need, is that more important than having less, living a more humble or prudent life, and having more valuable time to spend with your family? It's a balance. You have to stay in balance. Um, okay. How many of the things on your list support your goals, and do you have goals? And if you say you have a goal to travel and you haven't got a trip planned, you don't have a goal to travel. Again, having things to look forward to keeps us young, happy, and active. I think I'm young. Some people think I'm immature. Is there a difference? Yes, there is. I'm young at heart. Dale Carnegie's wife said, um, we all have to grow up, but we don't have to grow old. I like that. Okay, we can look into the future as well. Ooh, you want to look into the future? Well, like they say, what you did in the past generally reflects what you're going to do in the future as far as your attitude goes. You can say to yourself, am I struggling to buy a bigger car or a bigger house or a vacation home? Have you got a vacation home, but you're so busy working to support it that you can't go there? That's not right about what matters. You know, a lot of people here at the campground retired and bought beautiful RVs, and they just stay on. The cat is drinking my water again. That's my water. My water. I'm not going to drink it now because she already drank it, but she's got her own water. Anyway, back to, oh, so they get these big, beautiful RVs and they live on the road. And I think that's wonderful. And I would have some dreams about that. And then I realized for me, that's not the way to go. Because as much as it seems like it would be fun to, I'm just not happy with the way the front of my hair looks. So just bear with me here. It's way past haircut time. And that little wig I bought to put on to, no, I don't know. That little wig I bought, the pink wig, oh, I don't like it. It hurts. And it just, so here I am, Shaggy. Call me Shaggy. So with the RVing, I don't want to hook up to a full hookup thing. I don't want to have to go to a dump station and dump my stuff. I don't want to have to set up and break down, set up and break down. For some people, this is wonderful and they like it and they're free as a bird and they can go where they want. That would be nice for me. But I will prefer to make sure my car's in great shape and spend the same money I would spend on the RV going to motels, nice motels. So, you know, you have to take your pick, but what matters most to you? And I'm more of a sightseer than a go out in the woods person. It's just the way I am. I love history and stuff like that. So, okay. All right. So, when we want to buy a bigger thing or a beautiful thing, we have to ask ourselves, can I afford this? Um, yeah, will I use it? Am I just getting it because I think I want it? Is it something I will use? Do you shop by labels or by quality, value, something that'll serve you well? Do I keep my children overburdened with dance or sports and no time to be a child? What matters most? That you have a child that is an overachiever, or that you have a child that knows how to have fun? She's looking, she wants to get my water again. Stay away from there. That's my water. Okay. What impact does my lifestyle have on the planet? If we are big wasters and consumers, I guess being a consumer isn't bad if you're actually consuming and you're not leaving a lot of waste behind. These things help to determine what we are giving our life and our power to. If we base what's important on what people think of us, or how much stuff we have, or how many letters are before or after our name, that gives us some sort of credibility. Is that what matters most in your life? Cornell University psychology professor Dr. Thomas Gilovich conducted a 20-year study that analyzed how product purchases versus experience purchases make us feel. This is so important. The research showed that purchasing trips and tickets for activities and events or other experiences leads to greater happiness than buying a tangible possession. The bliss associated with adventures lasts longer too. This is about living our life, not having stuff. We believe having stuff is a measure of our worth, when it's the quality of our life that is more value than the quantity of the stuff we own. And Cheryl said, I believe that for sure. Such great memories. I know. And if there's one thing that we will most likely take with us, that would be our memories. Okay. False gods promise that they can, that what they can, false gods promise what they can never fulfill. The immediate thrill, the high of buying a thing lasts about as long as it takes to sneeze, leaving in its place a hunger for more, for the next thrill, the next high. Yet the false god's bait is put before us, bringing on a never-ending stream of waste-producing, next best, hottest, whatever. We believe that this will be the one thing that finally makes me happy or satisfied. And there is no one thing that is going to make you happy or satisfied. There's just one thing that will satisfy our souls, and that is developing our potential as a child of God and fulfilling that which we have come here to do. We're here to express our divine qualities, co-creating with God, manifesting, sharing, and bringing joy. We're here to create. We're here to be. We're here to do, and we're here to participate in the oneness that we all are. And don't let that feel like a restriction. It's a freedom, because there are so many ways to be and do things. And if you make it all about the money, you're selling yourself short. And you're putting your life on the altar of mammon, where you will die with nothing to take with you. Can't take it with you. In the classic holiday television program, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Rudolph makes friends with an elf named Herbie. The elf is very unhappy because he doesn't fit in with the toy maker elves. He doesn't want to make toys. He wants to be a dentist. Rudolph, with his red nose, is also a misfit. So they decide to seek the island of misfit toys where they believe they might fit in. If you've ever felt like you don't fit in, I consider the possibility it's a good thing. I say congratulations, because you don't fit in one place. You got your own unique way to be expressing. You know, it's funny. Everybody wants to be normal, but no one wants to be average. That's a thinker, isn't it? If you've ever felt like you didn't fit in, consider the possibility it's a good thing. Each one of us is an individual expression of God, created to fulfill a particular purpose, to express our divinity in our own unique way. If we spend all our time trying to fit in, we are ignoring our uniqueness, our very own gifts. False gods keep us in a state of measuring ourselves against them, whoever they may be, whatever that might mean. There is no need to measure ourselves against anyone else based on the criteria of false gods, which is ego, money, materialism, carnality. That includes income, social standing, fame, attractiveness, or how many letters of distinction precede or follow our name. Did you ever hear why John Lennon was shot and killed? The man who shot and killed him wanted a moment of fame, and he got it. And the world lost a wonderful, inspirational artist. Okay. Another way that false gods distract or drain our ability to complete our mission is people pleasing, which we addressed earlier. Our job is not to please other people. It's pleasing God. And when we say, well, what does that look like? No, it's not about pleasing the guy in the sky. We're talking about living and expressing harmoniously with the divine energy, the mind of all good, of creating and being a part of the greater whole, not apart from the greater whole. We want to be a part of the greater whole. Okay, we want to serve or help others. This is a good thing until and unless we find we might be helping them as a form of manipulation to get what we want. This is where we can sort out the things which are people pleasing. If we please people to try to manipulate to get what we want, or to because we're afraid they won't like us, or the other things we discussed when we looked at people pleasing. And then the things that are actually being of service. We are actually being of service when we don't give a single solitary thought to what's in it for us. We just give because it's just who we are. I saw a fantastic video. Somebody posted it on Facebook, and I saw it. but there were these two cars parked next to each other, and both the cars had their trunks up and they were loading their groceries into the car. Well, the lady in one car was kind of, she looked like she was kind of poor. You know, the car wasn't the best, her clothes weren't the best, and she was taking her groceries and putting them in the trunk of her car. Well, the guy who was putting the grocery in his trunk, every time she'd turn her back, he'd put more groceries in her cart. And she'd look and she'd go, oh, like she thought she was done. And she'd take more out. When she'd turn and bend into her trunk, he'd put another bag of groceries in her cart. And it was fantastic. And he drove away before she realized what it was. The last thing that he put in, there's no way that was an accident. It was like I don't know, a 10 pack of soda or 12 pack of soda or something. It was a pretty good sized box. And he was backing out and pulling away. And she looks at the box and she looks in her trunk and she looks at him and it's like, but isn't that a wonderful idea? You know, that's like that thing where you go through the toll booth and you say, I'm paying for the guy behind me. That's one of the sad things about having automatic ones. You don't get to pay for the guy behind you. You know, remember we were talking yesterday about high tech and high touch. The high tech took away that opportunity for high touch. I know when I used to drive back and forth to Long Island and there were the manned booths, and I would always, either say Merry Christmas or how you doing or have a good day or God bless you or, all kinds of stuff like that. And that's high touch. So let's remember not to get too high tech and to bring out all the high touch we can. High touch is not people pleasing. It is sharing the love. It is sending out a powerful vibration that will vibrate beyond that moment, probably to the next person they see, or being kinder to the people at their home or whatever. Okay. Okay. My rule of thumb is you will know them by their fruits. So if you are giving because you want fruit, which is something in return, that's people pleasing. If you are giving because you receive the joy of giving, that is service. We can ask ourselves, is what I am doing helping fulfill my mission? Well, first of all, what's your mission? Do you know why you're here? I'm thinking that just may have to be my next class. I have a class that I've done based on a work by Lori Beth Jones called The Path. And it's about discovering and living the path for you in life, what God wants you to do with your life, your mission, as it were. If you can't say what your mission is, if you can't say why you're here on planet Earth, what your mission is, they say at gunpoint, spit it out in one sentence. If you can't do that, you don't know your mission. Now, if you were to ask me, my mission is to know, love, and serve God as I inspire others to do likewise. I can spit that out. The mission for our church is to learn, live, and share the universal principles of truth as taught by Jesus Christ. Yep. So, we have a mission, and the mission is for the good of the whole, whatever it is. It could be that, Bob Hope, one of my heroes, what was his mission? To make people laugh and soothe the agonies of being at war. Always took care of the soldiers. And he was political. Let me tell you something. The guy was political, but everybody was fair game with Bob Hope. And for what it's worth, Bob Hope's actual name was Leslie. So there is a thing we call purpose versus task. And that is where we have to stop during the day and ask ourselves, whatever we're doing, is what I am doing now going to help me? That what you're doing is your purpose. What you're doing is your task. Does that serve your greater purpose? So if you had a goal or a purpose for the day, and you find that you are totally doing something entirely different, are you going to change goals, or are you going to change directions to get to the goal that you set up in the beginning of the day or the year or whatever? Here's an example. I am a writer, and as I had said, my mission is to know, love, and serve God as I inspire others to do likewise. And I try to, oh my goodness. Oh no, I'm not overtime because I started late, but I am actually overtime. But I'm almost done with this. Okay. Um, I'm a writer. My personal mission statement is to know, love, and serve God as I inspire others to do likewise. One way I do that is through my writing and preaching. If I busy myself with distractions, like spending hours giving my attention to interruptions from someone who just wants to chat, or attending to minor household business or tasks, I am not fulfilling my mission. On occasion, this can be helpful, but we can't make a habit of anything that is a distraction to completing our mission. I know sometimes our goals may seem far away, but this is what I want to say. No matter how small, the step you take forward in the direction of your dream, every step will eventually lead to you getting there. Well, I hope I gave you a nice little feast of spiritual food to chew on and to think about what matters most. And if what you're doing right now is going to be a step toward your greater goals. And I hope you will join me to. Oh, is it Friday? It's Friday today, isn't it? Is it Friday or Thursday? Well, I think it's Friday. I'm sure it's Friday. No, I'm not. I gotta, I gotta check my. I hate it when I have to do that. Let's see. Oh, it is Thursday, so I will see you tomorrow. I am such a hoot. You know, God does that so that it keeps me humble. Ah, yes. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow, and we're gonna do Revenge of the False Gods. And it's kind of short, so we may or may not go on to foundations and frameworks. This is where it's getting good. Did you notice I haven't had to tell you to buckle your seatbelt a lot? That's a fact. So let's get together tomorrow. Same time, same place. Well, 10 o'clock instead of 10:05. God bless you and have a great night.